Rekha, madam, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. We'll start, ma'am. Okay. Okay. I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we'll start. So, good afternoon to one and all present over here.
Check your audio, madam.
Is it clear, my voice right now?
Again, it's the voice is better. Paramasivam sir, please check why it's coming like that. Two equipments, you have a mobile phone and laptop with you together.
There is a large echo because of
yes.
two devices.
I hope my voice is clear right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So good afternoon to one and all present over here. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome and cordial welcome to all present over here for the 6 days virtual faculty development program on data-driven and data management offered by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Chennai, in association with ACM, Association of Computing Machinery. It's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome all the distinguished dignitaries, resource persons, faculty members, and participants to this important academic program. At the outset, I extend my respectful greetings to our Chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam, sir, and our Honorable President, Mr. A.P. Arun Kumar, sir, for their visionary leadership and continuous encouragement towards academic excellence, innovation, and technological advancement. I also extend my sincere welcome to our patrons, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, Vice Chancellor, and Dr. V. Cyril Raj sir, Additional Registrar, to all our esteemed chief advisors whose valuable guidance and support have contributed significantly to the successful initiation of this program. A special and warm welcome to our conveners, Dr. S. Geeta ma'am, HOD and Dean CSE, and to our dedicated coordinators, Dr. M. Anand sir, Dr. M. Sujita ma'am, Mr. Saravanan sir, and Dr. K.K. Rekha. Your commitment and sincere efforts in organizing this program are truly commendable. The theme of this program, Data-Driven Intelligence and Data Management, is highly relevant in today's rapidly evolving technological environment. Data has emerged as one of the most valuable resources in education, research, industry, healthcare, governance, and almost every field of human activity. This FDP provides an excellent platform for faculty members to update their knowledge, explore emerging technologies, exchange ideas, and gain insights into the latest developments into data-driven intelligence and data management. I am particularly pleased to share that we have received an overwhelming response with 1,000 plus registrations from various institutes across the nation. Your enthusiastic participation makes this program truly enriching. On behalf of the organizing team, I once again extend my heartfelt welcome to all the dignitaries, resource persons, faculty members, and the participants to the 6-day virtual FDP program. I wish the program great success and hope that these 6 days will be intellectually stimulating, productive, and rewarding for everyone. Now, I would call upon Dean and HOD CSE, Dr. S. Geeta ma'am, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. Really, I'm very happy to be hosting this 6 days faculty development program in the theme of data-driven intelligence and data management. First, I would like to convey my record of thanks to our President Engineer ACS Arun Kumar. Without his support, this would not be possible. He's always the pillar of support for us. Whatever the initiative which we take it in the department, he's the first person to motivate us. And I would like to welcome our Vice Chancellor. She is not joining now. She'll be joining with us soon. I would like to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi Madam. Really, she is always expecting something which others have not done by the Department of CSE. Happy to welcome ma'am. And our additional registrar, Dr. V. Sirulraj sir, with us today. Before me, he was the HOD of CSE, and he is the driving force of CSE department, and he is the mentor of our department. So he always just making us to think something what the faculty fraternity has to know with respect to the current technology as concerned. So thank you, sir, and we welcome you, sir. And the guest of the chief guest of the day, who's the session speaker of the day, Mr. Ajay Deshpande, Senior Director, ACM India, eminent speaker, ICERTAS Pune. Really happy to have you, sir. And the same time, I would just like to convey that to the participants. Getting the speaker from the ACM group, it's a big task for us. Ajay sir, once we approached Ajay sir, immediately he has accepted and he has come out to he has given a confirmation about to present the talk on the title of recent advances in artificial intelligence. Sir, we welcome you. Thank you for accepting our request and being with us today. I hope this session would be the eye-opening session for all the teaching faculty members as well as the research scholars. And I would like to welcome the participants. Without your presence, this would not be. It's in a full-fledged manner. So really, I want to welcome you all and thank you all for being with us, traveling with us for the FTPs, whatever we do every semester. Welcome you all the participants who are joining with us for this 6 days faculty development program. And I would like to welcome and thank the coordinators of this 6-day faculty development program and our technical team. They are the one keep on thinking about how to telecast this online virtual mode without any kind of without any kind of disturbances. So thank you in making this event in a great successful manner. So with this, I really am happy to welcome you all for this 6 days faculty development program. Then my humble request to all the participants, if you are expecting something different in the sense with respect to current technology, you are in need of any particular specific topic, please post in the group. We'll try to just do that kind of a faculty development program in our future plan. Thank you. Thank you, Deshpande again for joining with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Should
Thank you
we?
so. One second. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words. I invite Dr. V. Siddharth, sir, Additional Registrar, to greet the gathering.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, dear faculty friends. So happy to see that I think we have supposed to learn a good lesson from the woodcutter story. I think a seasoned woodcutter who could not able to improve his salary, wherein recently joined woodcutter could able to earn more. The reason behind is after every 2 hours of his cutting, the recently joined woodcutter had again sharpened his chisel. So this is the way that actually we have to take have the idea of this FDP programs also. So definitely we the faculty members have to update our knowledge, that too the reflecting the latest developments. I think all of us, we are aware how AI is playing a very important role in our not only academic also, but even in all the industry. So I mean, it doesn't matter how the downsizing is I mean activated through AI, but rather how AI can enable all of us. That is a very important thing. So without the knowledge of AI, definitely even teaching career is also I mean bleak. So that's what I can say. Now the role of the teacher is totally changing also. Dear faculty friends, as far as the topic is concerned, the data-driven intelligence and data management. Anyway, I mean, the experts are there to talk in length about how the data-driven intelligence can value add any existing system. Anyway, as far as my view is concerned, the charity should start from home. In our teaching career, how this AI, the data-driven approach should be. I think all of us we are aware how I mean we are monitoring the teaching learning process, and then right now everybody we are aware about how the program outcomes are being I mean calculated, but at the end of the day, if somebody asks a faculty or the entire group of student passing out student or an individual student outcome that all the required the course outcome knowledge are being transferred or obtained by that particular candidate. See, we could not able to drill down to that particular level, but rather if AI is properly used in this particular case, so definitely it can also be drilled down to that individual student, how he has performed in terms of the basic, I mean, topic-wise knowledge in his study through the data which is available. So, I mean, the data may be a number or an arithmetic or I mean, the qualitative indicator, but rather how it is reflecting in the overall evaluation of a particular student. I mean, in his the total outcome. So that is very, very important. So we have to, I mean, at any point of time, the student should know that what are the domains he is confident and what are the domain he could not able to, I mean, conquer or, I mean, no understanding of that particular topic. So many such things. As a teacher also, I should able to tell what are the weak points that I mean for an entire particular class. So how to improve those weak points. So like that, I mean, many such things, data-driven approach, I mean, integrating with the AI should happen there. I mean, in our academia also, definitely. I mean, I'm happy to say that in our university, in our particular department, computer science department also, we have started getting, I mean, the official version of some of the AI tools. And then we are integrating those AI tools in these process also. So definitely we are getting a new different outlook in these aspects. I mean, as what that right now I said also. So definitely it will help us to strategize our content delivery also. At the same way, the classroom handling should also be properly enabled also. As a faculty member, we should know that any topic that we supposed to teach can, I mean, where a possibility of AI layer, that too with the data which are already relevant to that particular topic that I'm going to discuss. I mean, how it is impacted on see that the understanding of that particular topic also, because right now we are freely enabling our students community to use the mobile and then the laptop throughout the teaching learning process also. So definitely we have to have some timing. When I go for a 1 hour of classes, so at least 10 minutes I have to make the students to interact with the available AI tools. How augmented learning or augmented understanding or the augmented application of the particular topic through the AI assistance can how they, I mean, it can differently enable the student. So that sort of what is it? Exposure should also be given to our student community also. So many such things has to happen, dear faculty friends. So all of us, let us learn and then adapt to this the latest requirement, or otherwise will be considered as outdated faculty. So that stricture should not be passed on to us. So with this note, let me thank Dr. Dr. Geeta, head of the Department of Computer Science, for arranging such a wonderful topic, as well as our management also. We are there, kind enough to sanction all the logistics support for this particular program, especially our President, Engineer Jesus Arun Kumar sir, as well as our Founder Chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam sir, for providing such a wonderful platform for the development of all of us. So thanks a lot. I wish all the participants, dear friends, successful career ahead. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for your incredible words. Now I request Dr. M. Anand, sir, to introduce our speaker, Mr. Ajay Deshpande, for the day. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a nice opportunity to give an introduction, talk about the chief guest, Mr. Ajay Deshpande. He's a senior director at an ICRTES. Previously, he was the vice president of engineering at Zimbra Technologies Private Limited, leading a team that builds a next generation collaboration product. Ajay Deshpande provides the technical leadership in implementing product roadmaps. Ajay Deshpande started his career at Bell Labs, Moray Hill, NJ as a C++ programmer, working on main memory-based database system. On returning back to India, Ajay Deshpande worked with the Persistent System Limited for 12 years in various roles. His experience as principal architect includes end-to-end design system, helping customers with technology roadmaps and system modeling for performance, scalability, etc. Ajay Deshpande has built complex enterprise software like messaging system, large-scale advertising system, and enterprise social software. Ajay Deshpande has a master in computer science from Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai. Thank you. I welcome you, sir, for this wonderful section. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anand, sir. Ajay, sir, over to you.
Right. Thank you, madam. That was it. Let me thank the organizing team, Dr. Geeta, the entire management at MGRERI. I remember visiting the institute about 10 years back, I think. It was a wonderful experience there. And I'd love, and it's good to be back uh, in this online session. I did not expect that we will have so much of participation, so much of attendance, which is really good. The 300 plus participants. So before we organized this, we had a chat. We discussed what all should be covered. Basically, we are talking about data. So once our discussion happened, I went back and changed our presentation mode a little bit. I brought in this angle of how can we use AI in education? Because all of you are teachers, faculty members in one way or the other. You are dealing with teaching students or doing various other activities that happen in your universities. So I wanted to spend the next 1 hour or so on this topic, and I'll tell you that I can talk a little bit about the theoretical aspects of how AI works and everything, but I don't want to delve too much into theory. I want to get into some demonstrations or some tools that you can use on a daily basis to make your life faster, simpler, and even more interesting and accurate. That's what I would like to cover in the next 1 hour or so. So one of the basic things that we start when we talk about AI, this is a very interesting cartoon I saw recently. So the cartoon says that I don't write anymore. I get everything written by AI. And the other person says, I don't read anymore. I just get Chat GPT to do it for me and summarize it to me. So it's an interesting situation that we are getting into. Jokes apart, I would like to spend 2 minutes on these technology shifts. So when I say technology shift, if you look at on the left-hand side, these have been various other technologies that have kind of changed the way we live, the way we work, the way we learn. A lot of things they have changed. So for example, if you look at electricity, it brought in things like electric motors, which did a lot of work that was previously done by human labor. It brought in mobility. You could move fast. Today we have trains that move like 700 kilometers an hour. So all of these are technology shifts, but I would like to differentiate the technology shift that artificial intelligence is bringing in a little bit of a different way. What's different with AI as compared to these other technologies? With AI, what's happening is that we are augmenting our expertise. If you look at the previous technology shifts that we had, steam, electricity, internet, mobiles, they were helping us to do our task better. They were just speeding things up, or they were getting us new information and so on. For the first time in a technology shift, we are seeing expertise augmentation. Let me give you an example. The other day, I had a problem with my bike. It was, giving me some weird noises and stuff like that. I had no clue. In the past, what I would have done was that go to the regular mechanic and show him the noise and get it. Instead, now I went to the closest AI bot that I have, ChatGPT in this case, and described my symptoms to it. And interestingly, what I saw back was very precise features as what could be wrong. And I narrowed down to the aspects that I was looking at and went to the mechanic and then told him that these are the things that could be wrong. He checked it and it was the case. It was actually those things were wrong. So what happened in this process, I wanted to demonstrate here, was that the expertise that I never had came to me so quickly. Like I'm not a mechanic here. I'm not a bike mechanic, but the expertise I did not have came to me that got augmented. This is what AI is doing to us. We can all become experts in our area of choice very quickly. That is what is happening. This expertise democratization, so to speak. So now let's go to the education world and address the, so to speak, elephant in the room. And I see this happening everywhere. All the colleges that I go to, everywhere that I teach. I'm a professor of practice as well, in addition to my industry affiliation. Everywhere I go to, I see this. People, that is students, are blindly using AI. Okay, because of that, we are having all these problems. Okay, you see, there is no critical thinking, for example. Assignment given, assignment is put into AI, solution is brought and given back, submitted back. In this whole process, the student has become more or less like a postman, taking one message from one place to another and delivering the results back. So there's absolutely no creativity that's happening. So these are some basic problems that are brought up in AI, and this is a kind of a tumultuous next couple of decades until we settle down in AI. Until then, what's going to happen is that a lot of things are going to change and be in flux. So this is one of the basic aspects of this. On the other side, when you use AI, when companies are using AI, there are a lot of things like that are happening is that it is able to teach, so which means teaching jobs are at stake now. So will we have the same number of teaching jobs as we go ahead, let's say in 5 years? I don't know. So it's going to be quite an interesting challenge that we have out there. So there is a lot of dilemma that AI is bringing or surfacing, which were not there earlier. So, another basic problem that I see with universities is that they make the syllabus for year 1. By year 3, the syllabus is outdated. So, it's like very important to keep the syllabus up to date, and it's very hard for teachers to do that. So it's a big challenge that universities are facing. So, with that in mind, the big question that comes now is, all you faculty members, should you be using AI? Okay, so this becomes a big question that we all need to address. And I don't have one answer from universities. Each university has its own challenges. They do it in their own way. Some of them adopt, some of them don't. There is a lot of flux, like I said, around it. I wanted to give you my opinion on this, what we should do for whether we should use AI or not. My take is that we should look at AI as a solution and not a problem. What are the problems it can solve if you look at AI as a solution? There's going to be a lot of things, and I will tell you many of them like that. Then the problem comes out to be, the question is not whether I should use AI or not use AI. The question is definitely you should use AI, but what is our strategy as a university? What is our strategy? Where will we use AI and where will we not? That becomes the question there. So you need to determine your strategy of how you are going to use AI, right? So with that in mind, here are some points that I would like to make where AI can help. Okay. First of all, AI can help scale education. So today we have, for example, ratios of 1:30, one professor to 30 students, which is not great. Across the country we have that kind of fraction, which is not great. I would love to see it to be 1:5, 1:10, somewhere thereabout, right? I believe that AI can help us get there. You don't need to have all physical professors being available to help students. There is a lot of, we can talk about that in the later minute. But AI can act as a coach. AI can act as a examiner. AI can act as a teacher. So then how do we get that going? How do we use that to help ourselves to improve humanity as a whole? That's the question that we need to understand. Another angle to this also is that AI can also help teachers to simulate the student response. So I will show you some examples of that also down the line. But which is a very interesting thing. We can tell AI that assume that you are a 12th grade student. If I ask you this question, what would your answer be? Right? So it's a very interesting situation that we can create like that. So there is all these things that we can do. So my opinion is that we should use AI very much, but determine our strategy as to how to use it. Right? So that's the important thing. Now, if we take this as the way forward, then you cannot give your assignments, and I'm from computer science, so assignments like implement bubble sort or implement quick sort, these assignments will not fly anymore. Because if you give that assignment to students, they will put exactly that into their favorite chatbot and get the answer, the code, put it back and give it as a submission, right? So that will not fly. So we as teachers need to think, how am I going to change my strategy? What kind of assignments will I give? So instead of saying implement quicksort, I'll give you an example. We could use the following assignment. Implement your favorite 5 sorting algorithms, compare their performance for record sizes 1 lakh, 10 lakh, and 1 crore records, and plot a graph of how each of these algorithms performs on these record sizes. Now, this cannot be given as is to an AI and generate code. It will not help. Right? Here, the student is made to think. Okay, so that is what I wanted to bring out to this audience, saying you cannot use your earlier assignments as is in the face of AI. So we'll have to change it. The other thing I also seen is that many students, many universities tell their students, no using AI. Now that is not the right approach, I feel. Why? Because 2 things. One, you cannot stop the student from using AI. That always happens. Even if they are not allowed in the college, they will go home and use it. If you don't allow them on the internet, they will use their mobile and use it. So it is not fun. But the more important reason is that once these students graduate, I, as an industry hiring person, I expect these students to know AI very well. I expect these students to be able to take a problem and solve it using AI 10 times faster than what they are doing today with hand. So you telling the students don't use AI will not help them in their career. So that's a very important aspect we all need to realize. So with that in mind, I would like to rest this question. Should we use AI or not? We should use AI, period. So that's definitely something that we need to think about. So here is what I would say. AI can be a coach. Like I said, AI can be a teacher. AI can be a lot of different roles, and we all need to just know how to use AI to get there. All right. So that was my starting point of making this, foundation for this session. I would like to point out a couple of things now before we get into the next two parts. So there are two more parts remain. That's what I would say. So I would like this to be very interactive, but unfortunately we have a large audience. So obviously it's going to be a challenge trying to address everyone's question. Everybody unmuting and asking questions will not work. So what I would request people is that if you have a question, please post it on the chat. Okay. And I will take breaks in between to see the chat and see if there are questions that we can need to answer. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that this is going to be also a hands-on session for many of you. Faculty can actually try things out as I tell them on their own laptops. I'm assuming many of you would be using a laptop to join this session. Please keep your laptop ready so that you can actually go and try some of these things out. Okay, so you don't need to do too much of testing and too much of writing code, and there's very simple things that I will tell you. The reason why I tell you should write and do it yourself is that that's how you will remember this. Okay, so that's an important thing that I wanted to say. Okay, now let's get into basics of AI. Okay, so there are 4 levels of AI, so to speak. In a sense, we have all seen this. I don't know if any of you are teaching machine learning, for example, or neural networks, or any of these new technology subjects. You would know these are the 4 areas of AI. So the narrow AI focuses on a single task. So, like for example, in 1980s, we had this chess playing bot, so to speak, that was invented by IBM that defeated Gary Kasparov. So that was the first time when a machine defeated a human in a chess game. That was good AI, but still it is called as narrow AI because it could only do one thing, which is play chess. Broad AI is where we are today, which do things like, you can ask it to have a generic chat about any topic, or you could get the AI to drive a car, for example. So you could do a lot of different things, but all the AI companies are trying to shoot for artificial general intelligence, which is basically almost replicating what humans do today, right? So that is what artificial general intelligence is there. Artificial super intelligence is beings that are far more intelligent than us. Okay, so this is where we are probably heading as we speak. So we'll see where that goes, right? After that, let's also understand a little bit about the basic terminology that is used in AI. Computer science students all know what algorithms are. It's basically a set of steps to solve a problem. That's an algorithm. Artificial intelligence are those machines or systems that can solve problems which would have required human intelligence to solve in the first place. So in the 1970s, even small things like, for example, deciding whether to purchase something or not. It's basically a decision tree. You take different data inputs and then eventually decide whether to purchase or not. Was being done by humans, but then computers stepped in with decision trees and brought in artificial intelligence. So even though they were not learning kind of systems, they were still AI systems. So AI is a very broad term. If you see on the left-hand side, there are these broad circles. AI is actually a very broad circle in the sense that anything that needed human intelligence, if it is solved by computers, then we call that as artificial intelligence. Then we came up with these other aspects, machine learning, neural networks, and deep learning. So these technologies in the last decade or so actually brought in learning in the way humans learn. A machine can look at existing data and learn from it to recognize patterns. Okay, this is how we as children learn. The only thing is, in deep learning, the learning is much, much faster than what humans learn, the speed at what humans learn. That's why these things become very intelligent. That led to what we today call as large language models. Large language models are basically those learning systems which can understand everything as a language. So even if you look at an image, it is but a language of pixels and colors. Okay, you can look at an image and say that this is just a bunch of pixels and colors, and it can be represented like a language. Okay, so everything can be broken up into a language. Okay, natural languages obviously are languages, but programming code is also language. Your MRI scan can also be constructed as a language. It is also a bunch of data points at different points in a 3D model. So you could take the MRI image or a MRI 3D model and make it into a language, which is basically a bunch of numbers in some order. So like that, humans looked at this and saying, if we solve the language problem, we can apply that to many, many, many different areas. And that is what they solved with LLMs. What they did was that an LLM could learn from a large data set of a given language and then predict in the future what word should appear after a bunch of words. So that prediction is because it knows it has seen that language so much, maybe petabytes of that language data. It can predict based on that data that it has seen. That is what is an LLM. And this is what we are using today overall. So these LLMs give rise to what we call as foundation model. Foundation model is a generic model. So for example, if you look at, if you're using Gemini or ChatGPT, these are all generic models. There are also specialized models. For example, there's a model that can help you with diagnosis of, healthcare conditions. That's a specialized model. So what they did was they took ChatGPT and trained it on more specific data on healthcare. So that foundation model of ChatGPT became a specialized model on healthcare diagnostics. So that's the difference between a specialized and a foundation model. So these are basics. I'm pretty sure many of you would have seen this already. But how do these systems learn? Right? So again, everybody knows this cycle, maybe not in this picture the way I have drawn it. But typically there is technology, which are what we talked about, like deep learning techs, which is technology in the middle. That is built by a developer on the right. Okay, so there is a technology person who builds this technology. Then this technology cannot be used until it is trained. So there is one more person in this picture on the left hand side at the top who takes the training data and trains these deep learning or neural nets using the training data. Okay, once it is trained, then it becomes artificial intelligence that's at the bottom. So which means that system, after it is trained, can actually work in real time to help you solve a problem. Okay, now let's take a realistic example here and apply this model to that example. Let's say your university wants to implement a face recognition software in the university so that attendance becomes automatic. So students and teachers need not take attendance. You can just go and stand in front of a camera, or maybe the cameras are all over the campus. They will track the person enters the hall or things like that, right? So somebody would have built this system, which is a facial recognition system. But this system is not usable until it is trained on Indian faces, right? So which means that the training data here will be maybe 10,000 Indian faces that are given at the left-hand side top, right? So we have the neural network as a technology. We take the 10,000 Indian faces that we have to be the system to be trained on, give that as training data. And once it is trained, then the system now becomes ready to be put in production. That is, I can actually put cameras in the campus and I can start recognizing people. At the bottom, we see prompts on the left-hand side. What is a prompt? Prompt is basically a way to instigate the AI into action. Okay, it's a way to instigate the AI into action. So a person entering the hall could be a prompt because his or her face now becomes available to be recognized. So it activates the AI. So which means that the camera takes the picture and then it passes through to the AI system, and that's where the recognition happens. So that's the prompt in some sense, right? We are comfortable with understanding prompts as something that we type. So we go to chatgpt.com and type something and we call that as a prompt. Okay. So, but I just wanted to tell you that prompts could also be something like this, an image being generated from a camera. Then we have interpretation of the results on the right-hand side. Okay. So what do I mean by interpretation of the results? I mean that in our system, for example, once the face came in, the system said either this face is recognized or not recognized. If it is a person, a student, a faculty member of this university, it would go and update the attendance for that system, for that person. So which means it is interpreting the results. But if it is not a person of that particular university, it might flag an error saying unknown person or something like that, right? But that is the idea of interpreting the results. When you are using ChatGPT, you give a prompt, you get a result, you are reading the results and you are interpreting the results. Okay, so that's an interesting point that you need to make. Somebody has to prompt it, somebody has to interpret the results. Okay, so if you see, I have divided this picture into top and bottom. The top is called as training of the AI. The bottom is called as inference. Training happens in a lab somebody has to pick all the data, choose which data to be trained on, and all that. And it happens in a lab. Inference happens in production. That is, if your college deploys these cameras in the campus, then that is inference. Okay. So these two are two very different sets of operations that we do on AI. We need to train, we need to do inference. Okay. Each of them has different kinds of computing needs. So we'll not get into that into detail, but we just need to appreciate the fact that training is different from inference. All AI systems need training to be able to be used in inference. Now there is another angle to this whole AI stuff, which is as part of building this AI system and using it, we are actually introducing our preferences as biases in this system. So for example, which 10,000 faces should I use to train? On the left-hand side top, you have that, right? The training data. Some lab person is choosing those 10,000 images that AI will be trained on. He or she unknowingly is introducing a bias into the system because they have chosen only 10,000 images, and those 10,000 images may not represent the entire world. So if you use this system in, let's say, Africa, it might not recognize anyone because your training data did not include some of those faces. So you have introduced a bias in the system, right? Similarly, if you look at the interpretation of the results, once the system says I have recognized a face or not recognized a face, somebody needs to go and update a database saying this person attended college or this person was in college on this day, right? That needs to be updated in the results. Now, the program that you use to update the database might have a bug. So the interpretation has gone wrong and it might say that this person never attended the college. Okay. So the reason I'm showing these biases on this picture is that you as a AI user need to be aware that these systems are not perfect. These systems will have biases. Okay. So it is very important that we recognize that fact. And when we are using these systems in a kind of production environments, we need to be careful what we want the AI to do and what we rely on it to do. So I'll give you an example of a very strong bias situation. So one of the companies, AI to do interviews of candidates. Okay, this is very common today. Okay, so this was like 5 years back. One of the candidates figured out that when the video interview happens, if he puts in books in his background, his interview score was 2 points higher than if he did not put the books. Without any reference to how intelligent the candidate is, this person found out that if you just put books in the background of your video interview, you will get 2 marks more than what the others would get without the books. Now, here is a great example of a bias. So if somebody figures this out, they can use these kind of tricks and pass the interview without really knowing anything, right? Or worse, you might reject a candidate because they did not have books in their background, right? So it's a very interesting use case. You should go and look at and study these aspects. So, but appreciate the fact that there are biases in every AI system. The next part we would like to know is how to use LLMs today. Everybody here has used an LLM. I'm pretty sure about that. Even without knowing, you might have used one. But if you have used one while knowing it, then that's great. But here are some points that you can take to make your usage of LLMs even better. So the first thing is when you are prompting with LLMs, right? Like go to chatgpt.com and you write a prompt. Our prompts are tell me this, tell me that, what are the things like that, right? But here are some points that you can do to actually make it look and behave much better than what you expect, right? What is possible. So, what are those things? The first thing is you can actually ask AI to teach you how to use AI. That's the beauty of this, right? So you can go to Gemini, for example, and ask it, what are the popular ways to use Gemini? You ask Gemini itself, right? And it will give you various ideas of how to do it. You can write a prompt and ask AI, tell me how does this prompt look like? Is this good? And the AI will promptly tell you, yeah, your prompt is good, but it's missing this and things like that. So that is the first thing. You need to be able to use AI to help you to use it. Okay. The next few things are you need to give context or intent. What are you trying to achieve? So if you give that context, then it becomes even more. So for example, I'll give you a quick one here. I have leg pain. Okay. I go to AI and ask, I have leg pain. Can you tell me what I can do? A simple prompt, right? But look at this prompt that I give now. I am a man of 55 years age. I live a quite active life. I play badminton. I take a walk once in 3 days, so on and so forth. I say that now I am seeing a pain behind my knee. Okay, behind my knee. Can you ask me the right questions to diagnose what kind of pain it is? Look at the prompt that I just made. I gave the context. I gave it the intent saying I want to find out what's going on. And I did not ask it, give me solution. I'm asking it to ask me questions so that we can diagnose this. Now, AI is all intelligent. It knows everything. So it will ask you the right questions. Okay. So your prompt becomes like maybe 5-10 sentences. Many of our prompts that we use in our company and all are usually 1 page each. Okay. So that's an important aspect that you should realize, that we cannot just ask simple questions if you want sophisticated answers. If you want sophisticated answers, you will need to ask sophisticated questions. And what are the contents of such questions? The content will be, you'll need to give the context, that is the background. What are you talking about? You'll have to give your intent, what you are trying to expect. You can even give examples of expected output. What kind of thing? I would like this in a table, for example. I would like this as a pie chart, things like that, right? So these are some very important aspects that you need to realize so that you can reiterate on your prompts until you really get good at it. So this is the first, I would say, the first step that every AI user needs to know. How to use AI efficiently. So that's a very important aspect. So the next thing what we will do is we will look at how we can harness AI. I'll give you some demonstrations and ideas like that. Let me take a quick pause here and see if there are any questions. Please type in your question if you have anything. All right, I don't see any questions right now. So as a question comes to you, please type it there. I can come back to it and answer it. So you don't need to wait for me to pause for getting the questions. You can keep typing in the chat of the meeting. Now the interesting thing is that if you type a good question, then people will appreciate. The other people will also appreciate saying this question is coming from such and such a person, which is good. Good to know that, right? So it's a good idea to get the question. And more importantly, you can get much more from this presentation than what I speak. All right. All right. Let's go to looking at how to harness AI. Before we get into the actual kind of demos, like I was saying, you can actually follow with your laptop now. Okay. The next thing is all slides, prompts, etc. that I'm going to use here will be shared with you. So you don't need to copy everything here or take screenshots, or you don't need to be worried about that. I will share all this information so that you can go and check this. Now, I believe that if you do these things personally, that will be the best way to learn these things. Okay. Any amount of sitting through these kind of lectures is not going to help you to improve as an AI user. So the first set is that for all of you is that you can make AI your teaching assistant. Okay. You can debate any topic with AI, for example, right? So you can, literally have a very intellectual debate with with any of the AI systems, right? You can pick your favorite LLM. You can ask it questions. You can ask it, do stuff, things like that. So you can debate any topic. It can help you with weekly lecture preparation and delivery. It can help you with assignments, questions, answers. But obviously, I will show you some examples of what you should be wary of, what you should do, what you should not do. Right? So that is the aspect we will look at today. So let's go into some of the examples now. Okay. I hope people can see my browser as well now. So the first thing I wanted to start with is there is this website called there's an AI for that.com. There's an AI for that.com. So if you go to this website, you can actually ask it, is there an AI to generate image? Is there an AI to generate, MRI data? Anything that you have in mind. So they will give you lots of AIs that are out there. So we know only maybe 3 or 4 AIs that we use. There is Perplexity, there is Claude, there is Chat GPT and Gemini maybe, but there are a lot of other AIs which can help you to do very interesting things, right? So thought I will share that with you to start with, right? So let's go ahead and look at. I'm going to go to Claude, or we can go to Chat GPT, any of these. Right? So I'm going to type this prompt. I would like to teach a course on nuclear physics for the first year BSc students. Can you suggest the objectives for such a course? Also, suggest textbooks and information sources. And look at this prompt. It's not very complicated, but it is giving it a lot of information. Now, why I picked nuclear physics is I have no clue about nuclear physics. I have no idea how nuclear physics works or I think. So when I do this, look at this. The amount of detail you get is amazing. Now, the point is, you should not just copy this and make your course. This becomes a starting point for your actual course. So this becomes a starting point, and typically about 75% of the content that most LLMs give you is really good. You can tweak the rest of the 25% and good. So look at the power you have now. Instead of starting from scratch and doing your own research in your library or whatever, you can now go and do this kind of stuff out here. So it gives you course outcomes, syllabus structure. It's just amazing, the amount of work that it can save us, right? So obviously we did all that. So the next prompt I will give is that, okay, great, I got this. Can you give me the syllabus outline using the above structure? Okay. So here is the syllabus. It has broken it up into, interestingly, unit 1, 2, 3, and 5, I think. It will typically give you 5, yes. No, there is 6 as well. In this case, it's given 6 and 7. So point I'm trying to make here is that you can actually debate this with AI and say, so now can you please limit it to 5 units and 160 hours of lectures. Okay, and there you are. So it's given me exactly what I want. So basically I'm actually debating with it. You can ask even more deeper questions. Obviously, I don't know anything about nuclear physics, but I could have asked, why are you doing this? Why not that? Why this order? Things like that. So, great stuff to start with. So any teacher, if they don't know how to use AI to do this, will be spending way lot more effort in getting things. Okay. The last prompt I will give it. Please give me a list of questions that could be part of the first quiz. Right. So this is the list of questions on the first quiz. Look at that. Now, interestingly, if you look at it, these are very short conceptual questions. So this could be 1 mark, 2 mark kind of questions. Questions requiring some explanation, and then there are numerical problems. Now, if I had to do this kind of stuff in a new subject, I would easily take a month. Right? What I could achieve here in the matter of few minutes is just amazing. Right? So this is something that we all need to learn. So the more you do this, the better you get at your prompts, the more you can get out of your AI. Right? So similarly, you could go and talk about assignments, talk about answers to the questions, talk about give me my first lecture content, give it to me in slides, and so on and so forth, right? So it's quite powerful as a research assistant or a teaching assistant for you. Okay, so I hope that was clear and it was useful. Okay. Let's go to the next point, which improving your language skills. So that was a kind of science kind of subject, any subject, but you could also use it for using language skills, right? So you could give prompts like, I'm trying to learn English, for example, or trying to, get better at my English. So all that stuff, you can definitely, something that you can look at. So let's give some example prompts here now. Okay. So let's go back to ChatGPT. Now this can be applied to any LLM that you use, and most LLMs do a very good job on this. Okay, so you don't need to be going to only ChatGPT. It could be in any of them, right? So what I will do is I will delete this chat and go with a new one. Okay, because I don't want to maintain that history. It will think that I'm still talking about nuclear physics. So now I'm going to talk about English, right? So I want to improve my English. My prompt is that I want to improve my spoken English. Can you help me chalk out a 1 month plan to improve my fluency? Let's see what it does. Now look at this very interesting thing. It doesn't give you always, but sometimes it does. This kind of 2-column output. So it means it's giving you 2 different solutions, which it thinks both are right. You can choose whichever you want. Okay. So in the left-hand side, you see listening to English 15 minutes, speaking practice 15 to 20 minutes. So this is like your daily schedule. It has given you a schedule, what you should do. In week 1, build confidence and English thinking. So it has give you goals and tasks. So what content you should listen to? BBC, VOA, TED videos. Now, these are some really strong sources of information. And if somebody comes to me and asks me, can you tell me how I can improve English? I will say the same thing. So the AI is doing a much, much better option, or much better than what I would have done in this case. I mean, it is also quite diligent in the sense it gives you a lot of details, right? So I can say I prefer this response. I will keep the left-hand side response. Okay, so this is what we have milestones. All right, good. So, but it did not give me anything about which TV channels I should watch, right? So let me add a prompt to it. Because it did not give me any TV channels, which TV channels are good, I added this prompt, what television channels should I watch? Right? Now look at this. So it gives bunch of television channels and also what to do in each of these. So again, quite important, how to go to learn English. Now, if you notice, it has forgotten one more thing. Somehow it did not cover it, which is, can I use my mobile to learn English better? You're telling me about watching videos and things, we can do that, but are there other things we can do? So can I use my mobile to learn English? What options do I have? That's my question here. So if you look at this, there's YouTube, there is English news, okay, speaking, record yourself. Now this interesting thing. It has come up with, you can record yourself and listen to yourself, right? So look at this interesting. Anyway, so the more you try these out, the better you get at it. So I just wanted to make sure that you get this picture, that you can easily learn a new language, or English for that matter. You can get better at it, and you can do things like that. But there is also another important thing you can do, which is you can learn Indian languages as well. Today they are getting very, very good at Indian languages as well. In fact, you can talk to Gemini in Hindi, for example, or Chat GPT in Hindi, and it gives fantastic options, right? Indian languages as well. So I'm very happy to say that they are doing well in these languages as well. Then finally, I wanted to show you one more angle, which is I say rephrase this sentence. The sentence I have given it is, we will have to do it together. So why do I want to rephrase? So let's look at these examples. See, look at this. We will have to do it all together is natural. We'll do it, have everything together, slightly clearer, things like that. So can you give me some formal corporate options? So let's say you are in a company or gone to a company and you want to put the same thing, like we will have to do it all together in a company setting. We will need to address all of this collectively. This looks more professional, right? If you are a senior executive, we will need to take a coordinated approach across all areas. Look at that beauty of this, how powerful it is becoming, right? Action oriented. We will need to address all these areas in a coordinated manner. And then it says my top recommendation. So it says for whatever reason it likes this option. So this word rephrase, paraphrase, things like that is pretty powerful in that. Okay. All right. Let me go back and see if there are any questions, and then we will come back. So there is a question actually. Ms. Ashwini is asking, sir, how can we give a right prompt in AI? So I think I have addressed that. The slide on prompt engineering that I showed gives you context, gives you intent, and then you need to give examples. If there is still something that you would like to know, we can chat about it after the discussion. Okay. All right, let's move on. What's next? The next is chatting with your documents. What does that mean? Now, let's say your college sends you a document which is like, let's say 10 pages. Now you are in a hurry, you want to read it quickly, but you don't have time and it will take a long time, right? So you'll say, I will read it in the night. But what you could do is you could get a very quick, short summary, okay? And be ready with at least the basic contents very quickly. And I will show you how to do that, right? So I have gone to a website called notebook.google.com. Okay. It asks you to log in on notebook.google.com. This is called a Gemini Notebooks. You can add that document here as input section here. This is called a sources section. You can say add sources and upload that document here. Okay. Now I have added one document already. Okay. Actually, there are two documents. One is a PDF and one is a doc file. So I will select the PDF and say, can you give me a 10-minute, 10-sentence summary for this dot. Look at that. I have made a sentence spelling mistake, but it still forgives me and gives me the right answer. So that is a very interesting part about AI. AI is very forgiving. Okay. So this is the summary of this 20-page document. So it's talking about agentic AI. It is talking about autonomy, planning, tool use, things like that. Right? Now, isn't this powerful? I mean, most LLMs do this, but this notebook has a lot more powers than, that's why I wanted to show it to you here. Okay. So this is called as chatting with your documents. So you take your document and chat with it. So now you can next ask, tell me a bit more about agentic AI described there. Right. So let's see what is described in this document. Right. So the important point is could be any document. It doesn't matter to be that it's English or Kannada or Marathi or whatever, Tamil language, whatever. It can understand all the languages and it can give you this kind of summary. You can talk about, see, look at the amount of data it just picked up from that document. So this is very powerful. Okay. So you should definitely look at notebook.google.com. Now, why did I come to notebook.google.com is that there are other aspects of it. You can convert this into a slide deck, a video overview, or audio overview, make it into a report. There are lots of aspects here on the right-hand side. This is called as the Notebook Studio. So you can basically make this document into a video. In the video, it will be explaining this document. So you could use it in like a podcast, for example, or you could use it in a training, or you could create a report out of it. So let's say you have a document that has lots of data about a function that you conducted, and you want to convert it into a report to be submitted to senior management. You just go and click report here, and it will create that into a nice report. You can then chat with the report and change it and make it better looking, for example. So that's a very important aspect of how to use Notebook LM. So notebook.google.com. Okay. There is also one more thing, not Notebook probably. I will go back to my favorite ChatGPT. Okay. So I'll quit this English. I will go back to asking other questions. Can you summarize? I have given it a URL here. This is a bbc.com URL. And I've asked it to summarize. Now look at what it does. Let's see. Look at this. So if I just open this myself, okay, this is about Article 370, BBC. So if you look at this, this is at least 10 pages. Okay. If I want to understand this, I have to read, spend at least 10-15 minutes with this, right? Instead, if I go to my ChatGPT, here, look at this. It just summarized it so quickly and more importantly, very accurately. Right? So this is the beauty of using LLMs to reduce your work and make your work easier. Okay. So on this slide, we talked about how we can brainstorm with your document, understanding large documents and large websites. You can even do that for a video. You can tell the LLM, ChatGPT like LLM, to give it a video URL and ask it to summarize that video. Should try that out. Quite interesting. Okay. So this is another task that we do as teachers every day. And I would like you to start using these things so that you spend lesser time on this. Now, working with media creatives. So these are some of the aspects that you can do with. Everybody knows about this because when you want to create a poster for a function like this, for example, today you can create that poster in like 5 minutes, right? So it's so easy to become. It's become so easy that you can easily go out and do stuff on the website, right? So what are the typical examples that we have? So you can go to Canva. Okay. So this is Gamma, sorry. Let's go to Canva. So what will you do design today? I'm designing something. So on Canva homepage, there is a AI, Canva AI. I go there and I give this prompt. The prompt is, I'm going to conduct an event on artificial intelligence. There will be talks given by experts from various institutions. Can you please generate a poster for this event? Include the following data. Okay, let's see what it tries to do on this. So it is, I have given it context as in where is the venue and what date is it on, okay, and whom to contact. Okay, so now the interesting part is this AI understood the context of what it is going to be, and look at this. These things are not just one, but many of them are already set up. It gives the title, it gives the context, it gives the date, the venue. You can give it as much detail as you want and prepare something like this so very easily. Okay. So most LLMs do it, but Canva being a design studio, it's easier to do it here because they have more templates, more colors, more various other things. So I just use Canva for this. But today there are like 1,000 other websites which do this. But I just wanted to make sure that I talk about this in a little bit. Right. So everybody is aware of this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. You can do posters, you can do social media announcements, LinkedIn stuff, event logistics. You can even do a video message. You can upload 3 or 4 of your photographs and it will make a video out of that. Right? So that's this. There's only one other thing that I want to spend some time on, not in the creative part. This is called as diagram GPT. Okay. So again, you don't need to copy anything here. I'll share all these details with you later. So with the diagram GPT, let's see what it can do. Okay. So the prompt I'm giving here is something related to a diagram. Can you generate a diagram for the architecture of a web-based system? It has 3 tiers and is protected by a firewall. Okay, typical web-based system that we design in computer science applications, right? So if that is this thing that I give. Let's look at what it does. The diagram GPT is very, very interesting. So first of all, it didn't go and generate the diagram directly. It is asking me some questions. Now, this is the first time I'm seeing an LLM being more intelligent than just generating whatever it's asked. So it first of all realized that this diagram is about a web-based system and it is a technical diagram. So which 3 tiers should the architecture represent? So these are various options that are typically out there. Self-presentation, application, and database. This is a typical use case, right? Which major components should be shown within the system? So here you can do shift click and select multiple of those. So all these. Okay. Okay, next. Okay. Where should the firewalls be? Now, interesting, it recognized that the firewalls happen to be can be placed at multiple places in this thing. So typically, we would put firewalls around the entire system, which means typically it is protected from the public. Okay. What are the communication things that should be represented? Obviously, I will want to show HTTPS traffic. I want to show user authentication. I want to show database connections. I'm not interested in audit logging, and let's say backup and results. Okay. What deployment? It's even asking, okay, where do you want to deploy this? So I would go with AWS on Amazon, and then say generate diagram. Okay. Now just look at the power of this LLM. The way it generates is so beautiful. It's almost like if I were going to draw a diagram for this architecture, I would not be able to do it as well as this is doing. So I can take this, say this, edit it if I want, and present it wherever I want, or put it in slides, put it wherever I want. So go ahead and try this out. It can even do diagrams of other things as well. Even things like, for example, if you go to, let's say you want to build a hierarchy of our constitutional data, data from our constitution, India's constitution, you can build a very nice diagram using Diagram GPT. So it's a very powerful tool, understands the context, and more importantly, asks you the right question to do this stuff. Right? So that leaves us with working of media creatives. Let's go ahead. Making polished articles and presentations. This is again something that we all do every time, right? So with this kind of power we have, there is no excuse for any of our presentations should be in bad condition. There is no excuse for us to write a document badly anymore. You should know how to use these tools, and you should be able to use them to your advantage, right? So let's look at one of the tools. First tool that many people do not know is your PowerPoint. I hope everybody can see club formations and activities PowerPoint slide. This is a slide that many people do, right? And they don't realize, it could be made much more beautiful than just writing this text. So PowerPoint has this concept of called as designer. Okay, you click on designer. Designer understands the context of your slide and tries to put some design around it. So look at the examples that it has generated. It's quite interesting. Many of them are quite good. So for example, I put this design. So now you have no reason why your slide should look drab and bland, right? You should be able to put, things like this, for example, and your design is ready and it's good to go. It's actually looking much better than just out there. So this is the simple option, but there are other options as well. So let's go back to now Gamma. So gamma.app is a presentation that you can do. So for example, let me show you a presentation that I had done some time back. Okay, look at this presentation, the way it is put, beautiful. So I gave it a few prompts and I'm able to generate this kind of a presentation. Okay. So all of this is possible if you understand how to give the right prompts. That's what it, so it needs a lot of practice. But point is that you cannot give excuse anymore that your presentations are bad because, okay, so we talked about making reports. So I'm not going to spend time on that now. Let's move on in the interest of time. The last and maybe the aspect around what people use is how do I play with numeric data? Okay, so this also is a very important aspect. So for example, many times you get marks in Excel sheets or attendance in Excel sheets, things like that. You can do a lot of work with uh, these data items, and you can actually make it into your strong point of how to use this data. So let me go to Claude for a change. Okay, let's see, where is Claude? That's perplexity. Okay. That's graph. Okay. All right. Let's clean up this chat. This is Grok. So Grok is also okay. We can use that also. Or if you want to use Claude, we can use Claude as well. So what I will do is that I will show you some data first in terms of what you can do with this data. So let's go to test data. So there is a CSV file that I have, which shows data about where all did Virat Kohli score his centuries. Okay, so for example, if you see this row number 4, as I'm highlighting, he hit 118 against Australia in this, and the result is India won. Okay, so this is the data I have. All right, so the first thing is people can go to Excel and use something called as a pivot table. So I clicked pivot table, new worksheet. I got the pivot table here, right? So here are fields that were there out there, right? So we will look at runs. So it's count of runs. So it's now it becomes columns. How many runs, how many times he has scored. If I put it in rows, it comes out here. Okay. So basically I can pick any of them and put here. So now I'll put against. So these are all the rows I got against whom Virat Kohli has hit centuries. Okay. Then I take runs and put it in the values part of it. This is count of how many centuries. So if you look at this, he has 16 against Australia, 15 against Sri Lanka. So by using a pivot table, I quickly found out which is the country against which Virat Kohli has the largest number of centuries. So I had this kind of data, tabular data. From that, I went to a pivot table and could quickly get this. So the reason why I wanted to show this is that many times we don't need AI. Our Excels and Word, all these applications have a lot of power. But let's see what we can do with AI. Right? So that's the important thing. So what I will do is I will take this CSV and drop it into Claude. Okay. So now you see the CSV uploaded to Claude. I will say, tell me a bit more about this data. Very simple prompt. I just started out here. The interesting thing is, it is giving me aspects on what all you can do with this data, what all is just has out there. Look at this power. I did not ask it anything else. I just asked, tell me a little bit more. It says 20 centuries total, 24 times not out, 30% of them. Opponent breakdown against which, so if you see, it is saying Australia 16, which agrees with what we saw in the Excel sheet. How much of it was home versus away? 37 home, 36 away. So he's very consistent. He plays at homes as well as at home. So let me ask it a question. Tell me against which opposition he has remained not out the most. So look at this. I have an spelling error, but it again forgives. It is very easy to just. He's remained not out the most against Sri Lanka 7 times. See? Next closest is Africa 4, South Africa. So anything that you can think of can be easily put up here. So let's give another prompt, which is somewhat different. So the prompt is, can you draw a bar chart with venues and number of centuries scored at each of them? Let's see what it does. Is it able to do that? Let's see. It's connecting to visualize. It says counting stadiums. Look at that. Isn't that what we would expect? So it says Adelaide Oval is the largest. Right? We didn't even know that he had scored so many of them in Adelaide. Right? So you can just copy this and put it into your slide and you're done. And from this document that we had, the Excel sheet, we got to this bar chart in a matter of few minutes. And not only it's like helping you to draw the bar chart, but it's also helping you to analyze. It's giving you information about a lot of interesting things about what you could do and what you cannot do. Insights into what he did, how many times he's not out. And the other interesting part of this is, if you upload data about something else, the LLM understands that something else also, the context. Here it understood that it is about cricket and it's about Virat, right? So it will understand any context that you give it as long as there is sufficient data for it to look at, right? So this is also a very powerful thing. So I have a bunch of other things I could demo, but I think it pretty much gives you the idea. You upload, drag and drop your Excel sheet into it and ask questions, right? So that's how we go about it. So with that in mind, let's go to the last section. We are at the point of finishing. We have only 10 more minutes. What's in it for educators like you, and what you should think about, what you should worry about, what you should not worry about? These are the things that I was looking to cover in this section. I will hopefully leave you with some things that you can work with. Okay. So the first thing you need to understand is that whenever you chat with an LLM, your data, like for example, I uploaded the Virat Kohli centuries data to Claude, right? So that data, if it was my private and sensitive data, I would have given it to Claude, which is not good. So this is the first one. If you have sensitive data, like for example, from your university or something else, let's say the pass percentages of students, right, which is sensitive until it is released. So you should not put that kind of data into LLMs. There are other ways to solve it, but this is a challenge for for teachers like you. Keeping up with the information deluge, there is a lot of information out there. Every day we hear something or the other new happening in AI. It's much, much faster than all the other technologies that we had in the past. But there is a way to keep up with it. Like I said, you can ask AI to teach you about AI. You can ask AI to tell you about what are the recent developments that are happening that are important to you, as in important for education. So this is a very important thing that you can do in terms of trying to keep up. All you need is an intent to learn more. So if you have the intent to learn more, you can do a lot. Then incorrect data leads to incorrect decisions. Obvious, right? So if I had given wrong data about Virat to Claude, it would probably have given me wrong results. It would not have gone and checked on the internet to see if that data is correct or not. No, I don't think so. So we have to be very careful about what data we use to make decisions. So it is very important, at least in our circles, what we do is that whenever we use data for important decisions, we get it reviewed within amongst ourselves and be very, very careful about how we are using the data to make decisions. Okay? Then resource limitations means bad results. So for example, one of the things that can happen is that you run out of your stuff on Claude. Like you don't have any more tokens. Then you say, oh, go to this other model. Let's use a smaller model, lesser kind of, this thing. So you run it and you get some results, but you're not sure. So the more the resource that is there, like in terms of computing resources, in terms of server bandwidth and all that, the better the AI is. So obviously it leads to the next question up there, which is, if AI is very resource intensive, why is it free for us? Why is Gemini free, for example? Google is giving it out to everyone, right? It's very intensive in terms of resources. They're spending a lot of money to give you those answers. The reason why they're giving it free is they want you to be hooked to these LLMs. So if you start using Claude or Gemini and you don't go to any other LLMs, eventually it will come to a point where they will say, now this person is hooked onto LLMs. We will start doing some kind of charges, some kind of advertising, some kind of revenue model around it. But currently the revenue models around AI are not yet very clear. So that's why everything is free. So it's very similar to when Uber came to India, for example. They were giving ridiculously low prices on taxis, basically because they wanted you to be on the platform, come onto the platform, start using Uber, get used to it, and then get hooked to it, right? So that's the model most companies use, right? So what are my recommendations? So I mentioned a little bit earlier when we started talking about it. So things like, for example, your assignments cannot be the same anymore, right? So your ways of teaching needs to change. So as a teacher, when I go to a class of students, I tell them how I use AI, for what purposes I use AI. Okay, I have to be transparent about that. Otherwise, it is not fair on the students to be able to kind of say, you are using it for grading the students, but they do not know about it. That's not fair. You should not be using AI to grade, but I'm just saying, if you are using, you better be transparent about it. So you need to be, changing your ways of teaching. If you are using AI, tell how you are using it. Right? Similarly, you need to change syllabus. You need to change your approach. So it's very important as education bodies, we need to look at this very carefully and seriously. So these are some of the things that are important and be aspect of how AI can make our lives better. So we should be very careful about while using it, but we definitely should use them. So that's the aspect. So here are my final thoughts. Okay. So the final thoughts. First thing is you need to realize that AI is not magic. It is just a bunch of algorithms that have eaten through lots and lots of data, and they just index that data and give you the right answers from that data because they have consumed so much of data. So AI is not magic, but it feels like magic. It gives almost the correct answers all the time, right? So my point here is that you own your work. As an educator, you own, as in the ownership of the work, even produced by AI, is yours. Okay. So if you are using AI to, let's say, generate the syllabus or generate the teaching notes, you need to be absolutely sure that it has given you the right kind of data and there are no errors in it. Okay. So you need to really look at AI as a friend who can make mistakes, right? So when we ask a friend for information or help, if they make a mistake, yeah, we accept it and we move on, and then eventually we correct it somewhere or the other. I don't take my friend's output and put it in my class directly, right? So that's the important aspect. So then people ask me, how do I check AI, right? So people ask me, if AI can give, like, let's say 5% of the time errors, how do I ensure that even those 5% are taken care of? We will get used to it, right? So one way to check is what is called as between AIs, fact check between AIs. So what you do is you take the output of one AI and give it to the output, the input to the other AI and ask, do you think this guy has given me the right answers? So if the second AI also says it's the same thing, then you probably have the right kind of approach. So you can use AI amongst themselves to make sure that they are giving you the right answers. So that's a very important point I would like to leave it with. So there's a lot of things that we learned today, a lot of things we did today. But finally, the point is you are the owner of the output of all AI that is with. So this, you need to take it very seriously and make sure it is accurate. So with that in mind, we are done from my point of this thing. You can integrate AI thoughtfully in your life. That's the message I would like to leave you with. You can connect with me on these anywhere, anytime, like on LinkedIn or email. I'd be happy to, be on any such talks. I do a lot of these, and it would be good to, do more interactions. Rekha, madam, I'm done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Participants, if you have any queries, you can post in a chat box. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. Good evening to everyone present here. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable President, Sir, Mr. A.C.S. Arun Kumar, Sir, for his constant encouragement, guidance, and unwavering support. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi Ma'am, for her inspiring leadership and continuous encouragement. An unwaverable thanks to Dr. V. Cyril Raj sir additional registrar for his valuable assistance and motivation. A special note of thanks goes to our Dean and Head of the Department, Dr. S. Geeta Ma'am, for her constant support and guidance in organizing this FDP successfully. I express my sincere gratitude to our extreme resource person, Mr. Ajay Deshpande sir, for taking the time to be with us and for sharing his valuable knowledge, expertise, and insights during this faculty development program. Your inspiring session has been truly enriching. I would also like to thank all the coordinators, organizers, faculty members, and the technical team for their dedicated efforts, seamless coordination, and whole support in making this program a grand success. My sincere appreciation goes to all the participants for your enthusiastic involvement, active participation, and valuable interaction throughout the program. Your engagement made this program meaningful and successful. Before I conclude, I request all the participants to kindly fill out the feedback form, the link for which will be shared in the chat box. The link will be remain active for next 1 hour and your submission will be considered for attendance. Once again, thank you all for your gracious presence and support. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ajay sir. Thanks a lot for your time and your valuable insight. Thanks a lot, sir.